Get comfy.
Welcome.
Okay. Ready? Sit down, cozy up, grab your comfort drink.
Because you're now listening to the Sippin' Pretty podcast. Oh, that was so fucking like customer voice. No.
I'm Desi,
I'm Caro.
and we're the sister-in-laws that hated each other for 2 years.
Yeah, in case you're new here, we'll go into it and explain more to you guys, but that's pretty much how we came about. And this podcast came about, which you'll know from the title. Literally, if it hadn't been for us hating each other for 2 years, we would not be here. So we thought it'd be a good start, a good episode to begin with, to give you guys an idea of like how we got here, what we went through, and really we're gonna,
why we're here today.
we're gonna call this our foundation.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's the foundation of what we're building now and what we're hoping it becomes.
Yep.
So we're gonna introduce ourselves first as individuals before we give you the tea on our tea.
Okay.
You wanna go first, Desi?
Sure. Okay. So I'm Desi. I am 26. I'll be 27 in October. I am a stay-at-home mom to 2 boys, and I just married my high school sweetheart back in April. And
Beautiful wedding.
thank you. And what else about me? I don't know. I'm
A girly girl.
yeah.
All things girly, all things makeup, jewelry.
Yeah. Coffee is my favorite thing in the entire world. Yeah, I think that's
like
pretty much.
That's a cool thing. I feel like that's a cool thing about you ever see how they say you're the kind of like going off like the peanut butter to my jelly type of thing. She's a coffee girl and I'm a chai girl. So I feel like it's
It's like that one TikTok where it's like the coffee to my matcha.
yeah. She's a coffee to my chai.
Don't get me wrong, I love matcha and I love chai too, but yeah.
There's just things
a
that you
good iced
gravitate
latte, yeah.
more towards.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, and tell us about you.
So I'm Caro. I'm not married yet. I'm engaged. Second engaged twice to the same man. I'll let you do with that information as you will. Oh, that's another story for the podcast. Yeah, I'm 23 years old. How many years do we have apart between each other? 4, 3, 4.
Did you just turn 23?
Yeah.
So yeah, 4.
Yeah, there's 4 years. Yeah, so she's older than me, you guys, by 4 years. Honestly, I'm a stay-at-home mom. I enjoy all things myself. I don't like to do much. I like to stay home. I guess the less things I have on my plate, the better. I don't really like to. I like to fill my cup in my own way. So what other people may say, like, oh, I like to hang out with my friends all the time. I'm like, no, I'd rather be alone.
Yeah.
Most of the time. Yeah. Other than that, my favorite food is Monte Cristo sandwiches. Yeah.
My favorite color is
My favorite color is white. Also, although I have chai right now, I have an obsession currently with boba. So
you'll definitely be seeing that.
Yeah, for this podcast, we just wanted to stick with like a coffee, you know, kind of go into things smoothly. But after this, it's boba. You're gonna see a bunch of little black. You have trypophobia. Don't even look at it.
Not for you.
Yeah, you'll learn more about us along the way. But I don't know. I think just because I'm nervous, I believe we both are. You know, it's kind of
for sure.
Kind of like our minds are blank. Poof. There's nothing in there.
I think we're just like this is a good little icebreaker. We'll warm up to it because I think once we really dive into things, we won't even like realize that the camera's there, which is what we wanted. Like the whole point behind this was you guys just having like an insight to our conversations when we hang out. And so, I mean, while it may seem like a little awkward and like nervy right now, I think as the podcast goes on and we dive a little bit more into it and it's more just you and I yapping it up, then it'll seem more lax.
Yeah, like I mean, I totally forgot to tell you guys I'm a mom to 2 daughters.
But you said stay-at-home mom, but you didn't say 2 daughters. But
yeah.
She's got the girls. I got the little boys.
Yeah, so we have the protectors over here. Do you like our talking cards? Product of Desi. Thank you, Desi. So if you notice us looking down, if you're watching the video of this, then that's why.
Our little talking points. I think that pretty much covered like intros into who we are individually. Yeah. Together we are sisters-in-law.
We're married to brothers.
We're married to brothers. We are not.
In Spanish, I know you call that concuñas. We've heard that. But in English, it's just plain old sisters-in-law.
I thought it was cuñadas.
That's your fiance's sister. So you and Billy's sisters are cuñadas.
Oh.
You and me are concuñas.
So why isn't there
I don't know. It's stupid, but I mean,
I'm very much no sabo, so don't come for me.
Yeah, you look at Desi and you're like, girl, you white as fuck. But no, you got a little. She's got Mexican in her blood. Okay, she's paisa. Okay.
Oh my god.
She's somebody to carne asada.
Before, we should start off by recognizing everybody that has like supported us so far.
Yeah.
Because the support that we've been shown on TikTok and Instagram already, without having posted our first episode yet, is actually crazy.
Yeah. And it's been so heartwarming and so reassuring, you guys.
So motivating.
I mean, our biggest supporters as of now are literally you guys and our partners. They've been holding it down. I mean, Billy, my brother-in-law, her husband, he's building us platforms to put on these beanbag chairs, whatever you want to call them, so that we're able to say hi. My fiance has been amazing. He took our photos for our little... Billy took pictures of us just before this too. You might have seen those on Instagram. So again, they're up for anything we need. They're like, yeah, what do you need? And it's been amazing. You guys encouraging us, and it's heartwarming to see the support. And again, reassuring, just knowing, you know what? We can do this.
Yeah.
And it's not that we can't do it. It's like, it's because we know we can do it and we're going to do it regardless. But it's like, wait, people actually want to listen. Like, that's crazy.
Like, it's actually just reaffirming like what we want out of it. And it's reaffirming like, okay, people are relating, and that's what we wanted, you know?
That's our biggest goal. Yeah. And we'll talk about this more, but throughout our conversations, we've realized like how much we've grown. We've gone through so much. We've each gone through our own traumas, and with time we realized like, you know what, we relate to all this stuff. Like, we can understand each other to that depth. And we're like, you know what, like our advice and like our growth from this and like the way we got to this point of healing could help someone else. And that's one of the things with this episode, where we got a bunch of questions of people asking us, well, how did you guys get to that point? How did you guys reconcile? And that's what we want you guys to take away from this. Like, how can you get to this point? What can you do? What steps? And maybe even give you a little bit of courage, a little bit of reassurance that in the end, things do get better.
Yeah, very much so.
What happened?
To the reason y'all are here.
Why are we here? Yeah.
And let me just preface this, and by the title, you probably have a little idea, but we came locked and loaded with receipts. Yeah. We are going to be reading from some of our messages that we sent to each other.
Oh my gosh. What was it?
It's actually almost 3, I think. It'll be
3 years in August. 3 years in August.
So
it felt like forever, eternity. Guys, we're gonna be reading these messages.
They are like,
we might tremble, our voice might shake a little.
They are like literally reliving it all, and it is so. I'm not even like, we're not over exaggerating when we say that it was actually such a traumatic time for us. Like, I told her when I was like going back through the messages, trying to figure out like which ones we should read and whatever. She was texting me at the same time, and like even just her text coming through, I was like, oh, like,
you got a little butterfly in your belly, like, oh.
But I'm like, no, I had to like ground myself. I'm like, okay, we're good now.
Yeah, it literally brings those feelings back of like when you're fighting with someone. Because I very vividly, when we were arguing, going back and forth, I remember like feeling cold.
Yeah.
My body's shaking.
It's just the anxiety.
And it's like that. It feels just like that. Because again, when something is so traumatic, anything that reminds you of that moment, it just brings you back to that moment. Yeah, so we're going to get into it all. We're going to talk all the tea. Literally, like, I call her a small-minded person, you guys. And look at us now. But bouncing off of each other's ideas. But, yeah, what happened? How are we here? And
I think the biggest thing to note about, like, what we went through and where we are now, because while we did get a lot of, like, positive comments and, like, oh, my God, like, I wish I could do that too type of thing. We also got a lot of negative ones that were like, I could never, she's gonna stab you in the back again, she's gonna, like, I would watch myself, still have your guard up, things like that. And one of the biggest things, like I said, to note about our relationship before is that we never started off on like a good foundation. Like Caro kind of said, like, this is like our foundation. We didn't have anything to start off on when we first met each other. It was like negativity from the get-go.
A lot of the comments on TikTok were like, she'll stab you in the back. But again, and it's, you can't say again because there was never that trust. So we each never betrayed each other's trust. It was kind of like, I fucking hate you, and we're going from there. So now we're literally trusting each other. It's new to us. It's trying something completely new. And when we're doing this, we can't go in with the mindset of, oh, she might stab me in the back. Because then you have this front up, and it's like, when are you really going to know if you can trust them or not? And again, we're going to get into all that of like, how do you get over that, right? Because one of the comments was like, she killed my dog or my cat.
Yeah, she killed my
cat. And it's like, okay, girl.
Or one was like, what was the one that was like, I pushed her down the stairs or something like that? I was like, oh my God.
Or like, excuse you? Like, okay, girl, maybe
not
to that extent.
charges.
Yeah, a nurse also commented something saying,
I don't remember what she said, but I put it in my video.
She'll stab you in the back. She's the one with the, we're like, you were like.
Oh, no. It was something about like literally offing each other. Like, don't go and kill each other now or something like that.
Yeah.
Because then I remember I commented back to her and I was like, do you see a lot of this? Like in the ER or something? Like sisters-in-law.
Do you firsthand witness this?
Yeah, there was no foundation of trust. There was no, I even told her this from the beginning, but like, obviously going back and like talking about things, she agrees now. She's like, you know, we didn't owe each other anything. We didn't owe each other any trust. We didn't owe each other any loyalty. Like, we didn't have any established basis for our relationship. It was just, you know, she walked in and I walked in and it was like, tension. I don't like you.
Tension, yeah.
So, and basically that, like, I think the basis of having no basis, if that makes sense, and like I guess what started the negativity was just a lot of assumptions about each other. So we never really got to know each other. I never, made any effort to talk to her or get to know her, and there wasn't really that reciprocated either. It was very much so we were giving each other what we were getting, and since nobody was giving anything, there wasn't anything there.
Yeah, and neither of us was kind of going out of our way to like.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's start with so what happened, right? So I'm gonna kind of piggyback right off of what you just said about us not really talking to each other. So when we first met each other, again, no conversations, nothing for quite a while. But we were getting information about each other from pretty much our partners.
Yeah.
Yeah, our partners, and things that like they were hearing from each other. So what my partner was telling my brother-in-law, what my brother-in-law was telling my fiance, and about me and Desi, like how we felt towards each other. And mind you, we did not know any of this until almost 2 years later.
We finally got the chance to sit down and
one-on-one
talk
together.
One-on-one.
Not the chance, the courage. Until we both got the courage to actually, you know what?
Because I guess we had plenty of chances.
Yeah, we had, oh, girl, 2 years and a half worth of chances. But yeah, so when you listen to this story, most of the things that we know now, we did not know until we had our one-on-one literally like 4 months ago. So yeah, so we were hearing things from about each other. So we kind of started building this like animosity. This kind of like what? Like what's her problem?
Yeah, who does she think she is?
What expectations does she have of me? And that was you, right? Because I had mentioned to Alex that I was like, why don't? Because we would not even say hi to each other. And I grew up in like our Mexican like Hispanic culture. Your parents, since you're little, dígale hola a todos. Go say hi to everyone. Every person you see, shake their hands, right? So I had that expectation of everyone. We're like, I'm the new person here. Like, why are you saying hi to me? Type of thing, And I remember bringing it up to Alex, but Alex took it a totally different way. And when
it finally made its way to me,
it was like, why does she expect me to make her feel welcome?
Yeah.
Like, because Alex made it seem like I needed her, Desi, to like make me feel welcome.
Right.
Like, roll out a red carpet and, you know, make me feel like I'm part of the family now, which obviously wasn't fair to her, because she's just also another daughter-in-law, and married to another brother. So it's like, why is that pressure on me?
Right. And that's exactly what I told her. I was like, when it finally got around to me, I think that's when my like, I don't owe you anything kind of attitude like kicked in, because that's what I told her. I was like, why me? Like, why am I the one that you're like so worried about, you know, being welcoming to you? Like, like she said, like, I'm literally just another sister-in-law. Like, I'm no one, but like, you should be worried about getting the approval of like the rest of the family, not me. Like, you know what I mean? And yeah, so, but I will say that when that information did get around to me, Billy was very much so like, try to make her feel welcome, try to like, just try a little bit harder, like try to say hi, try to do these things. And for a little while there, I did think that like I was initiating conversations a little bit more, or like initiating, you know, when we were all hanging out to like invite you to things and things like that. But I will say that I don't think that worked, because it wasn't out of the pureness of like my heart. Like, it was very much so just like, also, this is what you need to do, this is the expectation for you, so like try a little bit harder. And I was like, okay, I'll try a little bit harder, but I'm not gonna like give it my all, you know?
It wasn't genuine.
No, not at all.
Also, another thing is, when we were invited to things, it was like family gatherings.
Right.
So it was expected for Alex and I to show up. You
Right.
know, I remember Billy's surprise birthday party, we were there. You guys would do cookouts, invite the whole family. So it wasn't ever like, to me, it was like, well, I have a baby with Alex, you know, like I'm his girlfriend. Like, yeah, I'm going to show up. That was, but other than that, you guys, literally like every time we went to family gatherings or anything, it was tension and animosity.
And everybody knew it. Everybody could feel it.
Yeah.
It was very much so like an entire, like, it was well known. Like, everybody knew, like, Carolina and Desi, they don't get along. The day the shit hit the fan.
the day all hell broke loose. Oh, sorry, God. Don't say those words, guys. That's a bad word to me. I try not to.
Oh, hell.
I feel like something bad is gonna happen.
So, like we mentioned in our little short version of this story on TikTok, we got ourselves stuck into a he said, she said situation that literally snowballed like crazy. And the day that shit hit the fan is the day that we finally addressed things with each other.
Yeah, you reached out to me first.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the day it all started, we were at a company picnic, and if you don't, you probably don't know, but my husband and her fiance, and like basically every man in that family works all together. And so whenever they have anything company related, it's basically like another family gathering. Like, everybody's there.
It was a company picnic.
Yeah. And it was just like a little summer picnic that the company was throwing, but we all were there. And so we're all chit-chatting it up, like whatever. And after that picnic, my husband and I were going to be going to a football game. Well, at that picnic is when I caught wind of what Carolina had said. Like, basically her version of the events compared to my version of events. Mind you, I didn't know that you knew my version of events at that time, right?
Yeah.
Because that was before, or what? No, because I had texted Alex already at that point.
Yeah.
No.
Not
yet. So that was the first time that I knew that she knew, and that she knew that I knew, where we were together. So that was the first time of our interactions where we knew that the pot had been stirred.
Yeah.
That was the first day or whatever. Okay, so I'm like nervously playing with my hair, so don't mind me. Yeah, so at that picnic is when I caught wind of what her version of the events were. And I was like, like,
let me clock you real quick.
Let me, not how I remember it, but no. So we left the picnic and we were on our way to this football game or whatever. And I decided that I was going to text her. And that's where all of this originated from. So basically my first message to her was, hey, I heard what you said about me.
Addressing everything she heard, basically.
Yeah. Like, just, like you said, like clocking it. I was like, I heard what you said, and...
Desi approached me in a very, like,
professional way.
Yeah, in a professional, decent way.
I did,
like, genuinely wanting to, like, talk about it. Like, what exactly did you say?
I was so proud of myself. That's when, like, when things took a turn, I was so... That's another reason I was so taken aback, because I was literally, like, I came to this, like so classy. Like, I was just trying to get to the bottom of it. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't confrontational. It wasn't, you know, like, you bitch, this and that. Like, nothing like that. It was very much so just, all right, here's the issue. Let's address it. And, like...
I have the screenshot right here. So let's clear this up. And where was it?
And you were already...
I was very...
in defense mode, like, I'm ready for this. Like,
yeah, I literally call her a small... I said, don't even bother replying, LOL. I don't engage with small-minded people. And again, I was very hostile. I was very, like... And we've talked about this, and I like, when I tell you we've gone into depth with this whole situation we have, I told her the reason that I came off very defensive, very, like, hostile, is because I've dealt in the past with bullies, and which, again, it's no excuse, but, like, it's just the way I come about, like, arguments with other girls.
Right.
It's kind of like
that was your defense mechanism.
Defend myself, and that was the only way I knew, like, which wasn't very mature, because that was literally, like, an insult to you as a person. Whereas when she came to me and messaged me, it was literally about the situation, nothing to do with me as an individual. Right. Yeah.
And I think that's what was really hard, is she was so, like, neither one of us were able to get our points across, because we weren't on the same page, like, at all. Like, she was very much so in, like, I feel like you're coming for me, and you even said that in the messages. You were like, you're coming at me, like, regardless of how you did it, like, the manner in which you, like, addressed it, you're still coming for me. So, like, I'm gonna give it to you 10 times back. And what I did tell her too, literally yesterday when we were talking, I was like, she is so quick with it when she freaking clocks you. Like, she is so just off the top of her mind, you know, she's just gonna, like, give it to you straight. And I was not like that at all. Like, I had to take a minute to, like, you know, calculate it and, like, articulate what I was gonna say, and, like,
you know what, I think it's all those imaginary scenarios I have on my head, and
I had time to practice.
I sit in front of the mirror clocking myself.
Oh my gosh.
And I told her too, I was like, because I made a repost on TikTok where it was like, I don't like being taken out of my peaceful state of mind, because I can be really, I hate the way I am when I get mean. And we'll talk about that, yes, but one of the things I said in those messages is everything broke loose. I mean, it was bad. But
that's what I was just gonna say too, is, like, while you may feel like you hate getting taken out of, call it, like, taken out of character, right? Because you know that's not how you act, like, all the time. It's just when you get triggered like that. I also ended up getting to that point at the end of this argument too. So I mean, it went back and forth. We both definitely played our parts. It wasn't, like, one side or the other by any means. And just because, I don't know, like, that wasn't the way that I meant it to come off, I did, you know, play my part in continuing to get it to as far as it did. So, I mean, like I said, we were on our way to the football game. When I first text her, if you've ever been to a football game or any sporting event, you know that it's not like when you watch it on TV where it's like an hour long. It is literally like a full day event. So it was probably at least 4 hours that we were at this game, and her and I were going back and forth the entire time. I mean, it even got to the point where the guys were getting involved and, you know, texting each other back and forth because they were seeing, like, how riled up we were getting. It was
I think we should read some of the messages from that day.
Okay.
And then we can follow through with what it led to.
Okay, take a deep breath. Remember, we are not these versions of ourselves anymore.
And the reason we're so comfortable with rereading this in front of each other and not feel weird about it, not because obviously we still obviously have trauma from it, but
we're able to talk about it because
we've literally hashed it all out, you guys, in depth.
It's laughable now.
Literally, it's bitch, who were we?
Look at.
It was so many messages. When this all first happened, she messaged my fiance because she wanted to clear it up with him, type of thing.
Wait, was that? But I'm trying to figure out the timeline.
That was before.
So that was before this.
Yeah. And I texted her, and I was like, from the beginning, you should have came to me, not Alex. Trying hard to turn him against me. LOL. So I was already mad before that because again, she didn't address. We never addressed each other.
So you knew before I knew you knew.
Yeah, I knew before we were sitting. Yeah. So,
yeah, you did because
I think we should start.
But I think that was just.
Let's start with what I told you that really made everything blow up.
You want to start with that?
Yeah.
Okay, so you said, let me know when you get home so we can clear this all up. I'll be glad to do so. Then I can move on. And then she goes, and I want to talk, not fight. So don't go mixing it up. LOL. And I told her that we would meet somewhere in public. And she was like, don't be acting like I won't say anything to you in person. I'm not going to go out of my way to meet you somewhere in public. I have a life and better things to do.
Mind you, I was sitting down watching a movie with Alex. I wasn't doing shit.
Oh my gosh. At one point, I even told her, I was like, stand up for yourself without being disrespectful. Look at my first text, my verbiage. Oh, then look at the way you responded. And then she goes, hang on, I gotta find it.
I still remember it. I don't give a fuck if your verbiage is Harvard level sophisticated. You still came at me.
Yep.
Literally. I was like, I don't give a fuck. I remember that one. I was so proud of myself when I sent that. I was like, what? I was like, oh, you think verbiage? That's your
Wait, that's actually perfect for timing because it's that same text that you said what you said.
Oh, yeah.
Literally, this at the very end.
Okay, so guys. I'm going to read to you what I told her. And this is what, to this day, I feel sorry for. And it's something that if had I known the depth of the damage I would have done, I would not have used this against her. And I do want to say, when I sent this message, I knew it was something that would hurt her. And I remember very vividly telling Alex, babe, I'm going to send it. And I was like, get ready. Something's going to happen. If you thought it was bad, it's about to get worse, sir. So one December, we were sitting down at my in-laws, and I had heard Desi say, well, at least I don't have to worry about buying gifts for my side of the family, since I don't talk to them. That is all I knew. Point blank period. And I was like, oh, I remember thinking I wonder why, whatever. So I was like, nobody, girl? Really? So in that moment, I clocked that and I was like, you know what? That's my backup. That's my defense. The message was, the only reason you're so adamant that you didn't say what you did is because you were afraid of the consequences, since you don't even speak to your own family. And that makes sense to us. It doesn't have to make sense to you guys. Just know that what's important to highlight is that I said, since you don't even speak to your own family. And literally she called me. Oh
my God, when I tell you that was the cherry on top. When I tell you I was already riled up because we had been talking for literally 4 hours, and then she hit that nerve that was so sensitive. Oh my goodness. I was calling her. I was calling Alex. I was texting you. I literally went off. I was like, F you, F. Everything.
Literally, she was calling me, and my thought when she was calling me was, I'm gonna hang up. Because my thought process was, you don't get that.
I think I even left you guys a voicemail.
I don't know.
I think I left Alex a voicemail, and I was like, tell her to answer the phone, like she wants to cross that line, like we can go there type of thing.
Yeah, I remember thinking, I don't even owe her. Like, she doesn't get a phone call from me, and she was like, fuck you for bringing up my family. You do not at all know me to speak on that shit. Nah, fuck talking. Fuck you. You crossed the line. That was another thing. When you said fuck talking, and then what Billy had sent Alex, I was like, she doesn't want to talk.
Yeah.
She wants to beat my ass.
She wants to beat my ass.
Yeah. And I was like, you wanted to keep going at it. I don't owe you anything, not even a call. And then it was bad, you guys.
Don't add fuel to the fire if you can't take the heat.
If you can't handle the heat, why add more to the fire, Desi? I told you to stop messaging me and you kept nagging. And there was at that point, we were told by them that they were going to pull up to the house and like, we're coming, like, she better be ready to talk. I sent me. And I was like, show up to my house and I'm calling the cops on your ass. Your choice. And she goes, you cross the line, you better be about it. And she was like, I'm down the street at Walgreens, because there's a Walgreens right down the street from my house. And
I was like, not on your private property, so you have no means to call the cops.
Literally. And then I was like, I'm currently taking care of my baby. And she goes, AKA hiding, and low key T. She clocked that. I was like, yeah.
Yes, I would.
I was like, you want to fight? ? I said, pull up. So in my head, I'm like, nah.
Like, I think it was just so, okay, let's back up to like to Billy and Alex's like side conversation while we were having this conversation. So while we're having this whole like our hashing our stuff out or whatever, then the guys are also having their own side conversations. And I remember it started because we were sitting there and obviously Billy's like seeing the texts, as I'm sure Alex was too. And he texted his brother and he was like, dude, like, come get your girl, like she's gonna say something. He literally he knew the tension was heating up, and he told him, he was like, she's gonna say something that she cannot come back from. And like, because I think he also just read my body language and like knew how I was getting too, and how I was just like getting to my boiling point, you know. And so yeah, he texted his brother and he was like, come get your girl, like basically try to shut this down, right? And Alex was basically just like, I don't know what to do. Like, it's all Desi, you know, like I'm kind of just adding more to it. So then while they were already having their conversation or whatever, in the middle of that is when Carolina made that comment that struck my nerve. And obviously, like she said, she didn't know any details. She knew very tip of the iceberg, surface level of that situation. And Billy and I obviously know the extent of that situation and why it hit as hard as it did. And so Billy was 100% like
defense mode about Desi. Like, that's my wife.
That's my wife. He kind of, I think he embodied himself in that situation as like to like what he would do in that situation. So while I'm sitting here thinking like, nah, like we're not texting anymore, like I am going to show up and we are going to talk about this in person because you crossed that line. He took it as like, okay, we're going to meet up, and if I were you, like I would beat her ass, you know? So that's what he told Alex. He was like, at this point,
your girl deserves to get her ass beat.
Yeah. She deserves to get her ass beat.
And so I'm going to go a little bit into depth as in like how this, so not into depth, but like just make note of this. Make note of this. Because this was so bad that Alex and I actually almost ended our relationship over. Because when my brother-in-law sent that message, Alex, I still remember, he said, bro, let's just stay out of this. Let's leave them hash it out and let's stay out of it. Alex didn't come to my defense right away. He didn't clock it. There was one message where he told Billy, bro, why would you say that about your brother's girlfriend? And I told him to say that. And in the moment I was like, yeah, you're defending me, right? Like, tell him that. But then I'm like, why did I have to tell him that? Why didn't that come from you? Like why
naturally?
Like, why is your biggest worry for all of us to get along and not my partner was just disrespected because we weren't engaged at that time.
Right.
But then again, Alex also had never dealt with this in his life. He's very much always been like the quiet kid, the calm one. Alex isn't big on like anger. He very much suppresses those emotions. He would rather literally be at peace than
everybody
deal
get
with,
along and hold hands and rainbows and butterflies.
Literally, he's just that kind of person, and I love him for that. But then in that moment, it was something that was very frustrating for me.
Right.
So yeah, just make note of that. But like when we were having our issue going on, they were talking about this, and Billy was very much, I'm gonna defend Desi, and Alex was very much, I don't want this to happen, please. When we talked about this, I literally, like, I saw both points of view. I saw my situation with Alex, and I think I was envied the way he defended you.
Yeah, you even said that. You were like, I just wish he would have like defended me the way that Billy defended you.
Yeah, and it sucks to say that, but it's something that played a big part in this, right? And it's something that I've had literally throughout this experience. Like, you learn from things.
There's just so much more that comes from this situation. Yeah. Like,
from this, Alex, well, I have helped Alex understand, like, we literally read the Bible together, and one of the passages that I've had to make him like really live up to, or like try to embody in our relationship, is at the very beginning of the Bible. And if it wasn't important, it wouldn't even be at the very beginning, but it says a man leaves his family to become one with his wife. And that passage there has helped him a lot with his guilt of literally choosing me over his family in certain situations, because not all, right? Sometimes he will have to say like, babe, you're in the wrong.
Right.
But in others, it's like, we're your family.
Like we're one. We're in this together. It's not like
your brother. I know you love your brother.
Yeah.
But he has his family, and he's defending his family.
Right.
Why aren't you defending yours? Why aren't you defending me? That was the biggest takeaway with that. And that is one of the reasons why we almost broke up.
And again, she didn't have any idea of any of this until after we were able to sit down and go over the extent of everything. She was able to learn about, why what she said hurt me so much. I was able to get this new insight as to how much this situation affected her and her relationship. And there's just so many other pieces that go off of this one incident. That's why we try saying, like, you guys are getting like
the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, very little tiny short version of what happened. It's not just as simple as saying like, oh, we hated each other for 2 years. Like, there was so much more that went into it. And
we will talk in other episodes. We'll definitely address like what happened, like the certain traumas and just a bigger picture, but you'll get to know Desi to that depth. Another thing is, I was 4 months postpartum. And it was my first pregnancy, my first baby, so
she was already going through it in another way, and then this just added more to it.
And I told Desi, I was sitting there reading the messages. We have an island in our kitchen, and Alex was sitting right across from me, and I was literally like, with my fist banging the table, like hysterically crying, telling Alex what the fuck is wrong with her, like and he was just staring at me in shock, like scared, and it was just a whole whirlwind of emotions. But yeah, so that was happening. And
I mean, I stayed true to my word and I pulled up. And I think I still have a video of us driving past their house, and I was flipping off the house. And then we circled back and went down the street to the Walgreens and just sat in the parking lot and waited to see if she was going to show up or not. And then after that, just started a whole whirlwind of the 2 years that we spent.
Yeah. So what happened after that? We pretty much, we wanted, every Sunday, we would all go over. That's when our in-laws see the grandkids. So it was like every Sunday, everyone's there. That was a fact. We were going to stop going because I'm not confrontational at all. And I said, I like have really bad fucking anxiety and I don't want to deal with that. But I was like, no, I have nothing to hide. I'm, like whatever, we're going, I'm facing this bitch. You didn't show up for 4 months.
We stopped showing up. So when our issues, like the extent that they went, was not just affecting us or our partners. It went as far as affecting the entire family dynamic. Yeah, it was a really big problem. And so our solution to that was basically keep our distance. I am like the biggest on boundaries and
balance, as she's a Libra.
And I mean, I always like say this, you know, like I had no problem cutting off my mom, my dad, like a huge part of my family. There's only a handful that I still speak to. And so if you think I won't cut you off, like,
I already cut the ones that are meant to be the best.
You are mistaken. Yeah. So not that we were cutting anybody off in this situation, but we were very much so just like, okay, we need to keep our distance. Like we need to, you know, and I think because
it made everyone feel like they had to walk on eggshells around us because they were waiting for us to implode.
Yeah.
And basically
nobody knew how the situation was going to pop off. And I mean, I had even told her, I was like, if you're not going to meet me in those messages, I was like, if you're not going to meet me in person now, don't expect it to like just blow over when we do get the chance to see each other, because this isn't something that's just going to be like swept under the rug. Yeah. Which is another reason that I think, it went to the extent that it did as far as like going as long without being addressed, is because nobody was talking about it. It was very much so like everybody knew that there was an issue, but
no one was addressing it.
No one was addressing it. We were going to leave it alone, not touch it, and hopefully eventually it would blow over or whatever. And now we both have come to the conclusion that that's not how we are as people. We definitely need to address the issue. I need to have that. We're both empaths, right? And so we both need to have that understanding of each other's perspectives. And
part of me, so it's good that you touched on us being empaths, because when I said what I said, and to the extent that it hurt her, one of the things I would tell Alex is I feel bad for her, because maybe like that was the reason, right? Like it wasn't, but like if it was, it's like it sucks that like it gets to that point, you know, because you never know what someone has gone through. And that's one thing, like when someone hurts you, a lot of people can go like, oh fuck them, you know. But I think in the back of our heads we felt sorry for one another.
Oh yeah.
As in like, I don't like I'm sorry, like I'm sorry, like you have to go to that extent,
right?
And because I talked out of being hurt, right? And it sucks. Like I don't like when I say mean things, because I can get very, very mean, knowing like I'm aware that what I'm gonna say is gonna fuck you over, and I'll still do it. Which like it's fucked up, but sometimes.
But then I literally told you this when we were talking about it. I was like, but then it's the fact that you do it, but then in certain situations, if you care about like fixing that situation, you are also able to take accountability.
Yeah, and admit that you were the wrong. And again, give an explanation as to why. Because when you just say things and talk out of your ass, it's like, why would you do that, right? But when you're able to like express why you did it, what your thought process was behind it, and then
grow from it,
genuinely show that you're sorry, that makes a huge difference, you guys. But yeah, us being empaths in this really, really helped the overall big picture.
Right. Yeah, it went to the extent of affecting the entire family dynamic.
And we were aware of that.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It sucked. Again,
we didn't come over for the little intimate, you know, family Sunday dinners for a while.
Yeah, one of the things I told Alex was I'll also show up and I'll still come over, and, you know, but if it gets to a point where I don't want to anymore, I was like, you can't expect that from me.
It's not gonna be an expectation.
And I was like, because I love you and I know that you love your family, you can go, by all means, continue your bond with them, but don't ask me to do that. And like, I think like we were both in this situation, although we were hurting and put in such a hard spot, we were still keeping in mind everyone else's emotions and feelings. And it was hard because who was keeping ours?
Right.
You know, who was really... Wait, you had Billy.
Seeing things how we saw it. And
you had Billy, but again, I felt so alone because Alex's top priority was his family at this moment. Yeah, sorry.
No.
But yeah, everyone was, again, being affected by it.
Yeah. And I mean,
I think we can...
Not only like the intimate like family get-togethers or whatever, but
girl,
you know, holidays.
No.
Everybody knew. When we say everybody knew, like
aunts, uncles, cousins, everybody knew. Yeah. And it was because so one thing, because we had it. We'll talk about that. But here's the thing: when we would go to family gatherings, had we not had this issue and we didn't talk, it would be fine. It wouldn't be a problem. But we didn't talk beforehand. We didn't talk now. Only now there was an actual legitimate reason for us not talking.
Right.
And that was a tension that everyone knew was there. Mm-hmm. Everyone knew that it was taking place. So when we were sitting together at family gatherings, again, we wouldn't talk, but it was like, damn, like everyone knows what happened. Like, you know?
You could feel it. You could actually physically feel it. And this went on, like we said, for 2 years. In between there, we would have our little petty moments where we would go back and forth, TikTok reposts, threads. Like, it was very clearly at you and at you. Like,
there was the very first TikToks that we made. It was this sound by Megan Thee Stallion. And I don't give a fuck about who talked my back, because the bitch knew better than to let me hear it.
I remember the one that was like, you live rent free in my head or something like that.
Yeah, my Cardi B. I got condos in that bitch head. We would make little sounds like that. Obviously, who the fuck else would this bitch be talking about, right?
Right.
And it got to the point where back then, when you would repost a video on TikTok, you could leave a comment. And we would leave those comments. And it was very much directed.
I remember, like, it was petty at first, like, just little, like, not assumptions, because we knew it was about each other, but there weren't any direct comments that would make it, you know, obvious, until I remember there was one specific one where she literally quoted one of my text messages in the caption. I don't remember which one it was. Do you?
No, it wasn't a comment. Yeah, in the comments, when the repost.
Yeah, it was one of those reposts that was literally the entire reason that I text you that next time.
Yeah.
And that one was very passive aggressive, but it didn't go to the extent. So it basically was just, I thought you said you were, what did I say? I thought you said you were done with this situation.
Since you're clearly not done with this situation, like anything you want to say, like,
to me.
Yeah, like, let's talk about it, basically.
And you said I was done until something. You sent it to me.
Yeah.
I found it. Considering the last conversation we had, I had no intent on being the one to address you again. You haven't spoke up directly either until today. So what is it that you feel the need to say? Or would you rather speak in person? And don't deflect with trying to point the finger. You've played your part in this just as much as I have. So just say what it is that you gotta say, so this doesn't go on any further or any longer than it already has.
Yeah.
And you just replied with, I didn't feel the need to say anything until today for obvious reasons, and that's that. I got tired of the back and forth. I dropped this long ago. If you feel the need to say anything, which clearly you do, by any means, go ahead. And I said, this is a good one that we can read all the way through. It doesn't seem like you dropped it, considering you played into the back and forth. I know you didn't drop it 100%. I was over all the he said, she said, but not the things that you said directly to me during our messages. I take responsibility for how that conversation ended, because I got caught up in the heat of the moment, and I own that. But I wasn't going to let the line that you crossed with me over my super personal business blow over like nothing. And this is where the passive aggressiveness kicks in, because this is when you finally were like not owning up to like what I said was bad. It was like, here, I'll just read it.
Yeah.
I stopped playing the back and forth game about 2 months ago. I did drop it. And also, let's get one thing clear. I never brought up whatever trauma you went through, not specifically. I simply called you out on what stood out to me the most, the reason why you went and said what you said. But as to the line I crossed, I can't go back and take what I said. And I won't apologize, because the whole situation genuinely hurt me and I meant what I said. Therefore, I'm going to continue the way I have been, minding my business. I hope you can move on from what I said, and I hope you know that I understand it's completely on me. And I said, you can believe my family situation is the reason that everything happened the way it did, but from my perspective, that's not how it was at all. That's what I tried to tell you from the start. I never was personally attacking you. At least I didn't mean it that way. My family situation has absolutely nothing to do with this, nor has it ever. So it being brought up was completely out of context. If I were you, I'd take this as an opportunity to recognize that you never know what someone has gone through. So speaking on something you absolutely know nothing about shouldn't be used as a tactic to try to win an argument or prove a point. I don't need your apology. Your recognition is enough. Like I said, none of this was intended to be a personal attack. And then I said, I gave you the benefit of the doubt. I started to personally invite you to hang out with us. I spoke to you more like you wanted, which, again, I didn't know that wasn't coming directly from her until way later. I said, don't discount that. I was genuinely trying with you. I can't take anything back either, and I stand on what I said. I appreciate your maturity with the matter and communicating cordially. Coexisting is how I'm going about it, as I have been. And then she was like, no, don't get it twisted. I'm not apologizing. Yeah. She said, I'm not believing anything. It's what I gathered from your behavior. I wasn't trying to win an argument or prove a point. I was just calling you out. That's that. I never wanted your approval or your friendship. I don't know who told you that. I simply never understood what you had against me because, again, it's just what I gathered from your behavior. But let's leave it at that. I just want to make it clear that my recognition doesn't mean that I am wrong. Just that I understand that your feelings were hurt. Therefore, there's no need to continue to make it known. Let's move on. And I said, let's make this clear that I wasn't wrong for speaking on your character. My reservations about you are from what I observed, and that seems to completely line up with the way that you're acting and who you are as a person. But again, you reap what you sow. That's your own burden to bear. I'm content. This conversation is over. Coexist. And she said, let's make this clear. You don't know me as a person. You simply observe what I show you, and what you're observing is reciprocated energy. The energy you've shown towards me. Therefore, I wasn't going to behave likable for your approval, which again, I never wanted. As much as behave negatively towards me, that's what you're going to get. I don't kiss ass. There's no burden to bear. Coexist. No.
And then your message.
And I said, ditto. End of conversation.
Yeah, and then we literally just kept going back and forth until she was like, since you want the last word so bad, you can have it. And I was like, how kind of you. How generous of you.
Yeah.
But that was the second conversation we ever had and didn't have any other than that.
This was only the second time that we had talked
until
it came wedding planning time. And that's what kind of kick-started the whole process of rekindling, which we also wanted to touch on in this first episode, because not only was our beef like the basis of our relationship, but also like how we came over that beef, how we worked through it and processed it and everything, because that's literally the entire reason that we're even sitting here today.
Yeah, so when obviously Billy and Alex, they're brothers, and who else would he have wanted to be his best man at their wedding, right? And we were approached by them to have a talk, and really like the way we were approached, it was, we're gonna talk about the wedding but nothing else. So
can I say why we were gonna have that conversation first? Yeah. Okay, so yeah, obviously like Billy wanted to have Alex as his best man, like that's his brother, his best friend, like whatever. And so going into this, we knew not only did he want his brother to be standing in that position, but they have 2 daughters, which are like some of the only little girls in the family. Literally almost all the other cousins are boys, aside from, Sunny and Lily. Yeah. But so we were like, okay, so his brother to be his best man, and then their girls to be our flower girls, right? But obviously we have this overlying factor of us not getting along. So how do we expect, Alex to be involved, and how do we expect their kids to be involved if we don't get along? So I will say that like going into it, the wedding was kind of like not an excuse, but it was the reason that we wanted to try to hash things out, because we have this huge like once in a lifetime opportunity.
I think I told you when we talked, where I was like, this seems very
like calculated, like it's only for the wedding.
What word did I use?
I don't remember. I recorded that conversation too. I was like, there's gonna be nothing said here that isn't from my mouth.
Beneficial.
Yes. Yeah.
This to me seems very beneficial because you guys are getting your best man and your flower girls. What do we get? Right. Like, what is the purpose of this? Because my purpose, what I wanted was this. An apology, hash it out, really talk about it in depth.
Right.
But guys, for us to get to this step, we've had countless of conversations.
Right.
Multiple times I was talking about this.
And it took us being one-on-one.
Yesterday, before filming, we even still found out new stuff that we didn't know.
Right.
So my purpose, my
intent.
What intent was. But when we were approached, when that was said, we were like, okay, well, let's still go hear them out. So we came over and we talked, but it was pretty much the only big gain that we got was Billy apologizing to me.
Right.
Saying that he was sorry for like what he had said about me to Alex. Alex didn't say much, literally didn't say anything.
No, I literally, at the end of the conversation, I literally had to ask him. I was like, Alex, like, what do you have to say?
Yeah.
And he was just like, I don't know. I will never forget. The only thing he said at the end of that conversation was, well, now we can party together. And I was like, Alex, is that all you're taking from this?
Yeah.
But again, that's just the kind of person that he is, like the personality.
Yeah, but I will say, so when we say we had a lot of outside opinions, One of them, before this conversation, we had heard from one of Alex's cousins that you guys didn't want me in your wedding. Mm-hmm. Where they were thinking, well, we want Alex to be Billy's best man, but we don't want Carolina there. That's the way we were told it was, but it wasn't like that.
Right.
It had been, if Carolina isn't willing to like hash it out and like come to like, you know, an agreement of being cordial, mm-hmm. then we don't want her at the wedding.
Right. So that's what, and then again, we didn't know this until after. Her perspective going into this conversation was, well, they already don't want me there. So like what?
Because we had heard this before this talk.
So what is this going to be? And our like intent behind it and what we had said when that conversation got brought up was we knew we needed to have this talk in order for us to feel comfortable moving forward with you guys being involved mm-hmm. in the wedding at all, right? And so depending on how that conversation went, if it was going to be anything like our one-on-one texts mm-hmm. had been, we were going to set that boundary and be like, nope, I'm sorry, like you guys can't
like we have to be mature about the conversation,
right?
About everything. We don't want, because obviously even myself, and I understood this completely, like if it was my wedding, I would not have wanted you there,
right?
And I totally understood that. Where I even told Alex, if I don't go to the wedding, you can go, but even the girls won't be there.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's your brother, show up, but the girls are literally like part of me,
right?
So they don't have to go, they don't have to show up, right? So I understood that, and I was completely fine with them if they don't want me at their wedding. But it was also like, we don't need you to tell us to our face that you don't want me there. Like, just, you know, that was kind of our thought process. Yeah, because I remember when Billy had texted Alex to like come over and have that talk. Mm-hmm.
That was the first thing Alex said. He was like, well, if you're asking us to come over just to tell us that we're not invited, like
Carolina's not invited.
Yeah, then save it. And we were like, no, that's not what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
But it's again, you guys that's what you had heard.
Yeah.
So that was why you guys were thinking like, oh, this is just a conversation to tell us like that we're not welcome.
Think about it. Think about the telephone. The game telephone.
Yes.
That was our situation.
So many people it goes through before it gets to us, and then that's painting the image that we have of each other.
It just adds more fuel to the fire.
Right.
Literally.
And that's why we're saying like to get to this point and to get to the
we had to
true rekindling, mm-hmm. we had to talk about it one-on-one. And we could have nobody else there, no other outside opinions, because when we had this talk to like figure out, okay, like we want you, Alex, to be Billy's best man.
Yeah.
So like, can we talk this stuff over? It didn't solve anything. Like we had
and I will say, because we had a guard up.
We had a chill conversation. Like it wasn't hostile by any means, but it still was very much so, guarded. Mm-hmm. Like I'm protecting myself, and obviously we're like doing it appropriately this time.
Yeah.
But you guys were also very much so like protecting your guys' self too.
So eventually what happened was Alex ended up saying no to Billy.
And that kind of restarted the clock again for us.
Because it literally like brought up if you've made it this far, thank you, because there's so much that happened. But I pretty much gave Alex an ultimatum. I did. And Alex cried again, and it was it was kind of traumatic again, all over again. And I told Alex, basically, you didn't choose me the first time. This is your moment to show them that you stand by me. And by that, I mean, he didn't establish that sense of loyalty towards me when we initially had our issues. And I was like, this is your chance to establish that, because Billy already established that with you. He's got your back no matter what, right? Thick and thin. Thick and thin.
Yeah.
And Alex hadn't done that. So to me, this is your moment to do your big one. And he did. He told Billy, hey, I can't be your best man. And I think at the talk we said, like, which it seems stupid now, because why the fuck would we say that? Where we were like, even if he chooses to not be your best man, like, we want you to know that there's no underlying issue. Like, it's just, but like, what else would have
you
been,
were like,
you know?
I think what it was like, we will think about it or whatever. Ultimately, she did say ultimately it would be Alex's like choice, like it's his decision. But no matter what the decision is, there's no more animosity. Like, we're happy for you. I remember you guys saying, like, we're happy for you. Like, we'll be there to support you if that's what you want. But like, us, whether he's in it or not, shouldn't determine like anything else. Which, like you said, like you're saying that, but like, we're also, the whole reason that we're putting our best foot forward in this situation is to try to move on from it. So we're sitting there like thinking, okay, like, this is, you know, one step forward, and then they're making the decision ultimately to say no,
and it's a big pushback.
It restarted everything for us. We were like,
so if you had the assumption that it was me, ta-da, it was. Surprise. Yeah, I literally told Alex, no, dude, like, what the fuck is it gonna look like when you're standing up there next to the person that started taking my ass beat, and I'm fucking sitting just on the side like a nobody, you know, type of thing. And he said no, and obviously it was a hurtful they had a conversation, him and his brother. And there was another time when I don't know what happened, but Alex had said, so he got happy for something, I don't know what it was. And he was like, so does this mean I can be my brother's best man now? And I remember sitting there.
Oh, he said this to you? I was like, I don't know what conversation you're referring to.
He said it to me. He was like hopeful, because I know what I said to him. And he was like, so can I tell him yes? And I was like, dude, like, I sat there and I started crying. And I was like, if you want to be his best man, pack your shit right now and leave.
Oh my God.
I literally said that to Alex. But also, by the way, I've already talked about Alex. He gave me full permission to like say this, because at the end of the day, like, it is
just like a testimony.
We learn from this, you know, and he has had a serious relationships, but obviously not to this extent.
Right.
I've witnessed this with like my family and my uncles and aunts in their marriage, so I kind of have an idea. But when you're dealing with your first ever marriage partner, these are things you learn along the way. Right. So you got any opinions, go face your relationship first. Right? But I was like, pack your shit and leave. I was like, I already told you, you did not stand by me and defend me the way you were supposed to, the initial conversation. If you can't do that now, I don't need you in my life. I said, literally, like, I want a partner. You're the man.
Yeah.
You're who's gonna be our defender. You're gonna defend me, our daughters. I was like, please think about our daughters. Like, if they were in this situation, how would you feel? And he cried, and I cried. We were both crying. And literally, I was like, if you're not ready to stand by me through thick and thin, and I was like, literally, I could say yes and be fine with it. But no, because it's the principle.
Right.
I want them to know that you'll stand by me no matter what. And I literally, because before this, something had happened where he felt guilty for choosing me. And I brought up the Bible verse again. A man leaves his family to become one with his wife. And I said, dude, like, they are not your priority anymore. Like, I'm your priority. I'm your wife. I take care of you. You take care of me. I'm the one raising your freaking children, our children. Like, I was like, I've defended you countless of times. I was like, I need that from you. And again, like, I was like, pack your shit right now and leave and go be his best man. Like, go to live at your mom's. I don't care. And obviously he didn't, you know, he put a ring on the finger, but that was how bad it was. And the reason we're here now is because things kind of did start to shift. Where like, yeah, we said no to being Alex being your best man, but we still wanted to live by stand on the fact, stand 10 toes down on the fact that we said there's no more animosity, there's no more, you know, any underlying issue. Christmas comes around, and I freaking get Desi for my Secret Santa. So I was like, you know, I'm gonna do my big one. So I like put effort into the gift, and I was like, just because I don't like the bitch doesn't mean I'm not like go all shitty, you know. And me and her like have pretty common things that we like and stuff. So
we're very similar in a lot of ways. And
I remember Christmas came around, and I gave her a cute little gift, and then that night we played games. Right, we played games and we kind of like talked. It wasn't like super friendly, but it was like cordial, right? So we were still like trying to get along, and I think that kind of set the tone for like, wait, you know what? Maybe
it was
into it.
Okay, that's what you're doing, then that's what I'm gonna do. We were very much so feeding off of each other's energy,
wanting to reciprocate what we were getting, right?
And not only that, but when we ended up talking like later on. And we got into like the reasons behind why we did what we did.
Before we get into that, I had heard that Desi wanted to be friends with me.
I was like, what did you hear?
No. So I had heard that Desi wanted to be friends with me, and the first time I ever heard this, I was like, what? Like, why? And I was very much like, no, like there's, I don't see it happening. But me hearing that also kind of encouraged me to want to like trust when you reached out, right? So that's when you reached out.
Yeah, so my whole thought process behind it, like I said, was like, I'm gonna give as much as you're giving. So you're being cool with me, I'm gonna be cool with you. And yeah, so I did say, I was like, yeah, like I wanna be cool with her. I think we have the potential to like be friends. But it's just the fact that I don't wanna put myself out there like that if that's not what you're trying to do too, you know? And like I was gonna say, our biggest thing, which we didn't like get to the root of, I guess, like the reason behind a lot of our actions until we were able to talk to each other one-on-one. But we both came to the conclusion that it basically what came down to us wanting to act on the words that we were saying, put action to the words. So we both were agreeing like, okay, we're trying to move forward. We're trying to, you know, say that there's no more animosity. There's no more tension. Like we're trying to move forward, like genuinely.
March? Was it March when we hung out?
Yeah. So I remember during the talk before the wedding, she had made a comment about how she feels like her and her kids aren't as included as we include other family members and their children. And so I really I took that to heart. I think not only because like, damn, it sucks to be left out, but also because, like I said, they are the only ones that have girls. And that was one of the biggest things that Billy and I would like mourn over. The strenuous relationship we had was we're missing out on that opportunity with our only nieces. Like we're not getting the opportunity to do all of these like girly girl things with them, and the fact that the children might be feeling left out or feeling that tension, or
why can't we see our cousins? Why can't we?
Yeah, just the fact that
how come my other cousins come over and they don't?
Yeah, it would have an effect on them. Oh my gosh, that breaks my heart. Like I would never want our issues to even touch the kids in any way.
And again, our trauma and like what we have gone through plays a big part of this, because you don't speak to your family.
Right.
And I had to cut off my family, my cousins, and a lot of my cousins have kids already. And I used to tell Alex, oh babe, if only me and Desi got along. Like it sucked. And that played a big reason to why we had another baby. Because I was like, Lulu's gonna grow up alone. I don't talk to my family. Who the fuck is she supposed to play with? Who is she gonna hang out with? What, is she only supposed to see the kids on Sundays when they come over? So when we realized that our problems were not only affecting the adults in the family, but now our children as well,
kids, that's when we were like, okay, like we're gonna do so I knew that there was gonna be a day that I was going to be taking some of the other kids to go do something with me and my kids, and I was like, all right, this is the opportunity. Like I know that I'm doing this for them, so I'm gonna reach out to her and say, hey, this is my plan, like you and the girls should come. And she, you know, ended up saying yes. And it was that day that we were basically like, we needed this.
I remember when she messaged me, I was like, yeah, we'll take the kids out to like on a little play date, right? And then she sent me another message where she said, I've been wanting to go to Seven Brew.
Oh yeah.
And I wanted to see if you want to go with me. And I was like, fuck. I was so nervous, but I was also like, I can't say no, because if I say no, it'll be like, oh, you're fine with us hanging out to take the kids out to play, but you're not okay with spending one-on-one time with me. Mm-hmm. So I was like, so that doesn't come off very like, I want to hash it out, you know, genuine. So I thought I have to. And that
was my thought process too. And that's why that's why I made that other advance. I was like, okay, this is something that like we can relate to on just our level. And it's not necessarily, oh, I'm only doing this to like include your kids.
Yeah.
You know, so like, I was like,
I'm willing to spend time with you as a person, as an individual as well. And
then we just fed off of each other from there. Because I can genuinely say, if you would have turned me down, I probably wouldn't have like
tried again.
Wouldn't have put any effort into it again.
One of the things that motivated me was, at this point, I was also trying to like reconcile a relationship that I had to cut off of my life, which I'm very big on like forgiveness. And if you follow me on TikTok, like I post like videos of like, oh, forgive me, whatever. But then what good does it do when you're not willing to like act out on it?
Right.
And this is how our conversation initiated, because we were walking to the park. Mm-hmm. And I told Desi, yeah, well, you know, like I've been trying to reconcile this relationship with this person, but also I'm glad that I was given the opportunity with you. I told God, like, if you're giving me like,
it's something that you were like,
I viewed it as a second chance.
Yeah. And if God's giving you this opportunity, why wouldn't I take that opportunity?
Yeah, like if God is giving me the chance to like find closure and for us to forgive each other, like why wouldn't I take it when I'm big on it, right? Mm-hmm. So, and that started the whole conversation where we went into depth. You guys, literally the kids were like, let's go home. Like, no. Yeah. Keep playing. We have to keep talking. And we found our closure. This is when I told her, like, dude, I was like 4 months postpartum. Like, me and Alex almost broke up. And this is when
she got a lot of perspective on the things that we were going through too. And she was like, what the heck? Like,
we got so much insight as to why it is that we each had certain assumptions and perceptions of each other. Because to us, it was like, well, that was directly coming from you, but it wasn't. Mm-hmm. It was like so many
outside sources that were playing in, like almost like in our ear, like, oh, this is what's going on. Like, but it's not what's going on. Like,
and from then on, it was kind of, honestly, I got very like giddy. I was like, yeah, you know, whatever, because I didn't have a relationship with any of my sisters-in-law or her. So throughout these 2 years and a half, I felt so left out, like the whole time. And I remember right after me and her hung out, I texted one of my sisters-in-law and I told her, hey, like me and Desi, this just happened and hopefully things can, like I don't know, Alex says I'm very gullible. He said that too in one of the games. But I don't know, I just was very like filled with like gratitude and just like, I was just happy and grateful that we had that chance. And then
it just
went from there. Literally,
that's what I mean. We fed off of each other. It was very much so like, okay.
We started following each other again on social media. And then the second,
out more.
When we went hang out, the second time, I think we went to the park again.
No, I think it was another coffee run.
Seven Brew.
I think it was Seven Brew again.
Yeah.
And then that's when was that when we made our other videos? The ones that went viral?
Yeah. We hung out again. We went to Seven Brew and we started that's when we made the TikTok video.
We were like, hey, we should profit off of this situation. And make fun. Well, not make fun, but like, you know.
Joke about it.
Yeah. We're able to poke fun about this situation. And that's when everybody in the TikTok comments was freaking coming for us. I could never. She's gonna stab you in the back again.
Then the third time we hung out, that's when Desi was the one that brought up the podcast idea. But to us, it was kind of like just like a like,
we should. Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah, like imagine us as podcasters. And she said, I was like, you know what I was thinking? We could start a podcast together. And I was like, yeah, you know, like we have really good conversations. Like we could talk about all the issues we've been through. And just, you know, again, people learn from it and stuff. And we went home and started sending each other like inspo,
ideas,
and we went off from there.
We made Pinterest boards. We were going back and forth on names. Oh my gosh, what was? Well, we should talk about that in a separate episode, like all the behind the scenes and everything.
One of the names we want to do was ironically friends.
Yes, or I even said frenemies. I didn't realize that. I think it's Trisha Paytas has her frenemies already. Yeah, I didn't realize that, so obviously we're not doing that. But we also were so big on like we don't want our beef to be
our whole image,
our entire image. Like we want it obviously to be like our almost like origin story and like where we started, but that's not who we are anymore. And we want what we're bringing out of our podcast and like what we like represent almost to be more well-rounded as to just girlhood in general, because while we are, you know, sisters-in-laws and sisters-in-law and while we are sisters-in-law and while we did have this like big feud drama whatever, which is obviously super relatable, and like she said, like hopefully you can take something from that, we are also just girls,
and we went through something that countless and thousands and millions of people go through. So
I don't even think we even realized until people started commenting on those videos, and we're like, that's what also really kickstarted the whole thought behind a podcast was like, people are actually really interested in this. Like people actually relate to this.
Like she said, like we didn't want our whole issues to be like our image alone, right? Which is why we wanted to make this first episode about what happened, so we could get it out of the way and just give you guys an idea of what we went through, what we learned from it, and
how we're here.
Give you guys an idea of why it shaped us into who we are now as sisters-in-law, and why it is that really we just want peace and balance and just a good, because when you feed off of negative energy, you're gonna start releasing negative energy, and it was releasing onto our kids.
It's exhausting.
It's feeling like you have to walk, like you have to walk on eggshells around everyone. And now I can tell you, family gatherings feel so much better.
Oh my gosh, it's like there's like so much. It's literally like a deep breath. Yeah, like everything's off your shoulders. Like we can be our genuine selves, and that's also what she said too, like at the beginning, I think, about how like not having your guard up anymore, not feeling like you have to, you know, we have said this in our own conversations, but like now we have established trust. Now we have developed a relationship where it's like tight knit and close enough where obviously if we were to ever go through anything similar to what we did before, then it's a reason to be like, oh yeah, like genuinely
I can't trust
you, like
and that was one of the biggest things where I was like, how do you get to that point? And we talked about this yesterday, where it was like, you know, you mentioned you have people close to you that may say like, oh, keep your guard up. That's how my family is, like, oh, ten cuidado, you know, like if they did that to you once, it's like, no, you can't go in there with animosity again, right? You have to go in full on, your full genuine self. And I've told Desi this before we had that talk, I was talking shit about her. Right. I was like, dude, it's still fuck you, whatever.
I was too.
The minute we hashed it out, I very clearly told one of my friends, dude, like I'm gonna go in fully, like I'm gonna be genuine from the start, unless she does something that makes you want to change from that. It was a matter of a day difference. Why? Because when we talked about this, we realized it wasn't fully you and it wasn't fully me.
There was no two-faced, no nothing. Like when we talked shit about each other, that's all it was just negative. She talked shit about me, I talked shit about her, and that's all it was. When we got to the point of where we are now and starting to build on that relationship, that's what it was just nurturing that and giving positivity and
my thought process was, at least I will be able to say that I went in with being genuine.
And that's the thing, same thing I said.
Yeah, so that's how you grow from it. If you're, and like, also being emotionally mature plays a big part on that, right? Because when you have someone that still wants to continue being petty and someone that still wants to keep making like, you know, kind of like
poke
at you, then it's kind of like, dude, like when we did that, we did that, right? It took us a while, 3 conversations, back and forth on social media until we got to this point.
Blocking each other, unblocking each other, watching each other's stories.
Yeah, literally just being petty, like, let me poke at her. Let me let her know, like,
let her know that I'm still here.
Yeah, don't forget about me, babe. And so it's trial and error, it's learning, it's patience, it's grace, forgiveness, literally all of the above. And if you're not willing to really live up to that, you can't get to a point of closure, right? And another thing is, why would you want to continue having issues with someone? Because that's all your life becomes. It revolves around that, genuinely. Like, whenever we would go over on Sundays, I would do my makeup,
it's always
glam
in
up.
the back of your mind.
Yeah, because I was like, I'm about to pop off in front of this bitch. Like, you know? Another thing is, like, what I post, you know, like what I repost, and it starts reflecting on social media and becoming like social media with people, and it starts to become a reflection of who you are, even if that's not who you are.
Exactly.
Right? Because my first perception of her was she's a bitch. Right? Like, damn, like, is this how you behave with everyone? And that was her first perception of me.
Yeah.
Like, you literally told me, you act like your shit don't stink. And it wasn't until we got to know each other and the depth of each other, and like she said, we're just girls. And you realize that when you talk, you're like, wait, we're just girls who have gone through similar traumas, who have dealt with similar shit. And how do we...
And I thought about that too. I was like, we talked about it, like I brought it to her afterwards, but I had literally always said, even when we were in the midst of our, you know, whatever, hatred or whatever, I had always said, like, I almost think that we're just in denial that we could get along. We're in denial that, like, we have a lot in common, and we're not taking advantage of that. We're pushing against it. We're trying to be like, no, like, she's this and I'm not that type of thing. Until we finally actually got to talk to each other, and we're like, yeah, we are really similar. And like, those similarities back then is something we did not want to admit to. We did not want to admit that that we had the potential there to get along. Yeah. And
another thing as well is, had we gotten to know each other from the beginning, this would be, rather than a 2.5 year long feud, it would have been a 2.5 year long friendship, you know, something that was nurtured.
But who knows if it would be like this if we didn't have...
Everything that was meant to happen happened, because we got a lot of closure on a lot of things.
And we grew a lot from it, and now
it opened up our eyes.
We're getting like the perspectives, and like also the validation, like, oh, you feel that way, I feel that way, like that type of thing.
We were both hurting throughout this whole situation, whereas before I had a perception that they were happy and they were thriving and they just shit on us, but no, they were hurting. She probably had this perception. Well, no, you had a perception that we were great and thriving with the family. And I was like, dude, we were like alone all the time. Like, we fucking didn't talk to anyone, you know? And again, we didn't know this till 2.5 years later. And I think closure is needed, whether it leads to a beautiful friendship or it doesn't. At least you get closure, and you know why things happened the way they happened, and why they will either flourish or not.
Like you had said, like, closure being... and like forgiveness being like a big thing, and you have to be like open and willing for that, even if it's not reaching, you know, the same exact relationship as we have now. Like, you're not starting a podcast with this person, you know, with your op. Like, you're not starting a podcast with them, but just bringing that closure and forgiveness for yourself. Like, you know, they always say like forgiveness isn't for the other person, it's for yourself. And just to give yourself that peace of mind, because it is, like we said, like so exhausting, it's so draining just to, you know, spend your every waking moment. Like, I mean, there's underlying factors to it. Like, there's different, like for us at least, we were around each other so much. Like, it wasn't like we could just always avoid each other. So, yeah, it just bringing that closure and that forgiveness just for yourself to feel more at peace makes the biggest difference. Whether or not you guys are going to become besties at the end of it or not, I think that's super crucial. Obviously, like different, like I said, different situations, because the one that was like, she killed my cat. Okay, I don't know. That's kind of giving psychopath. But
major side eye. Like, girl, at that point, don't even try to reconcile shit.
But like we've said from the beginning, we did not betray each other in any way with our situation. It was just
because there wasn't any sense of loyalty or trust
to start off with.
That was expected
We're barely
from each other.
Getting into that now. You know?
When you, because all the people are gonna be like, oh well, maybe you shouldn't have been bitchy towards each other, you know, or like have like maybe just behave like decent fucking people. You have to realize, yeah, like we made that mistake and we're owning up to that. Don't need to tell us that. You can either start a new relationship or friendship, whatever, with trust and good intentions, or sometimes the best friendships start with hating each other, right? That's not always a
No,
case.
actually, that's a good point. My best friend and I started off not liking each other.
Yeah.
My best friend. We've been best friends since freaking
6th grade?
Freshman year. We got introduced to each other in like 6th, 7th grade because we had a mutual friend who we each considered best friend. Like, oh, she's my best friend. But then Taylor was over here like, nah, she's my best friend. So we started off like, I don't like you because we have the same best friend. And then come freshman year when we actually got the chance to talk to each other without that outside perspective and really get to know each other one-on-one, that we were like, oh, yep, like I get along with you so well. And she has literally been in my life ever since. She was my maid of honor at my wedding. Like, and it's just, that's just the way that things start off sometimes.
And now you're going to be her maid of honor at her wedding. So yeah, like either you start a good foundation or you don't. The only difference is that one is smooth sailing and the other one
takes more work.
If you ever want to get to a point of where you want to fix it, it's going to take all your hard work and you got to put your back into it, girl.
And that's with any relationship, any friendship, any marriage, any sort of relationship that you're having with another human being. You have to nurture it. You have to be willing to learn and grow from your mistakes. And that's what it comes down to. If you're not willing to do that, then expect it to always be shitty.
The biggest thing is take your time. Take your time, because although we tried to hash things out 3 times, it didn't take till it was just her and I, one-on-one, nobody else. Because one thing we said is we were the root of the problem. We have to talk it out ourselves. And we did. And even though the first time... And then it
flowed so naturally from there.
Literally, it was just, hey, do you want to go to coffee? Hey, let's take the kids out to hang out. Hey,
so while it may seem like you're saying, like, take your time, obviously nurture it the way it needs to be nurtured. Take the time that needs to be taken for your specific situation. But for us, once we got to the point where we were able to figure everything out one-on-one and feel comfortable and open up and genuinely be like, okay, like I'm willing to do this. You're willing to do this. It literally just flowed from there, because I mean, even this podcast, like we've only been hanging out consistently for the past 4 months. Like it hasn't been, years but we're nurturing that relationship. We hang out at least once a week ever since, that initial hangout. We text literally all day long. Like
we can send TikToks to each other now.
Yeah, it's just the way, instead of reposting, we're sending them directly to each other. But yeah, that's just the way that it's naturally flowing for us. Like it may seem like a short amount of time, but that's just the way that it is for our relationship. But yeah, I mean, you can take little bits and pieces from, what we went through and hopefully apply it to yours. But just remember, it's not going to be, the exact same blueprint.
And it's also your intention. Intention is a big part. Because literally throughout the whole thing, I remember I would tell Alex, oh, if only Desi and I would get along, we could hang out. I don't have anyone else to hang out with. And also I would tell this to my friends too. I mourned.
Oh, you told me this.
The friendship we never got to experience. The relationship, I mourned it with her and with my other sisters-in-law, where I was like, I feel so sad and hurt that we didn't get to have that experience as sisters-in-law. Because that is like, when you marry into a family that they have a bunch of girls, like, hell yeah, these are gonna be my girls, go shopping, go do all these things together. And I was like, I can't even do that with her. And then I was telling, oh, fuck Desi, bro. Like, if only we could have gone along. And it's crazy because I hated her, but I still mourned what it could have been. And so my intention, like, I always, like, even though we didn't get along, I still wanted that.
Right.
And I'm just glad to say that we saw it through and we made it this far, because it was not easy. It was so hard on everyone, not just us. And it took a lot of growth and a lot of courage and a lot of accountability to get to this point. Like, guys,
and vulnerability and humility to be able to own up to your mistakes and be like, yeah, I really like did my big one with that. I did the most.
And one of the message when she confronted me that second time, where I was like, I know that I hurt you, but I'm not sorry, because I meant it. I did feel sorry, but when I told her, what I told her was,
she didn't want to show weakness.
I did not want to show any type of weakness. I did not want to give you any chance for you to say, I knew, you're wrong. Like, you're in the wrong, But so even though I felt bad, I didn't want her to know that. And again, putting up this front that in the end, it just ended up adding more fuel to the fire.
Right.
That was a lot.
That was a lot. Take a deep breath. Decompress.
Literally, if you made it, my drink is still full. Didn't you?
Oh, I was like nervously like playing with my hair, nervously drinking.
Yeah, I feel like it could have gone. It couldn't have gone better than it did. I think we did a pretty good job for our first episode.
I think so too.
If you have made it this far, literally thank you for tuning in. And like, if you're dealing with something like this, look at us. 2.5 years. If you're in your first month, prepare for a ride, because this ain't it. This is just the tip of the iceberg.
This is just the start.
Whether it's with a sister-in-law, a friendship, your sister, your whatever, some relationships maybe aren't worth reconciling.
But it all comes down
it all comes down to what the problem was and intent.
Feeding off of each other and not one person. I think I even made a TikTok video about this. And it was regarding like my family situation and asking like how you set healthy boundaries and things like that. And it takes both people. You can't put in the work for both of you. You're just straining yourself or whatever. So when it comes down to it, if you're sitting there thinking, well, I want this, but I don't know if the other person wants it. It just comes down to letting that guard down and knowing that you're doing all that you can do. And if nothing happens after that, then that's just the way that it was meant to be. And at least you can say that you put in all that you could give. Yep. And
give it your all.
Go from there, because look at what it could be. And this is just a start for our friendship too, and our relationship. This is just the start of all of that. So I'm excited to see where it goes from here.
Yeah, and we're in the upcoming podcast. We still don't even know what a second podcast is going to be, but I think we're probably going to bounce off of maybe...
I think like a Q&A.
I think a Q&A would be...
Because now everybody has heard all of our tea.
Yeah.
And if you want us to go into depth about little things, or even like advice, if it's something that you're going through, I think that would be a good piggyback off of this, because like we said, while we don't want our beef to be our entire identity, I think it is crucial to like nip it in the butt right now and get these podcasts and these episodes that are kind of focused on that, not over with, because it is our foundation.
For example, some of you might ask like, well, what did Desi go through that you like that hurt her? And our second or third, one of the episodes could be about that. Could be, so focus mainly on like that,
what it is that you really want to get to the what's the word, what you want to get to the like core of, like what
the core of, I get. So
more things we can reiterate on, I guess. Or more explanation.
And things would just go off of that. So whether it's individual questions for her or for me, well, like what made you know that you could trust her, just anything, like we will answer that in a Q&A.
That'll probably be posted to our Instagram stories. We have our TikTok up, we have our Instagram up. By the time that you're seeing this, you're either watching on YouTube or Spotify, so we have those accounts.
At the Sip and Pretty Pod on TikTok and Instagram.
Thanks for sticking through with all of it, and hopefully it's something that you can relate to in some way, shape, or form, because that's ultimately what we're here for. But I'm so excited for the other episodes that maybe, like the lighthearted and the fun ones. Also the trauma dumps, because we have plenty of trauma dumps to do as well. But, yeah.
Yeah.
I can't believe.
I'm excited. Keep tuning in. Keep following, keeping up. Again, we're going to post that Q&A in our individual stories and the Sip and Pretty podcast. But yeah, thank you for sitting here with us.
Thank you for sipping pretty
at the Sip and Pretty podcast.